Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CPS Reports, and we are back with another recap episode of the fight content that took place this weekend. It was the UFC 302, Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier, and Makhachev came back victorious. What a phenomenal fight. Before I run through the card and recap the main card, let me introduce the rest of the panel. It is 80. How's it going? You doing good, brother?
Fantastic, bro. Happy to be here once again after a fantastic card on Saturday. And yeah, very
Yeah.
excited to break it down with you.
Yeah, let's get straight into it, Eddie. Without further ado, it was Dustin Poirier taking on Islam Makhachev in what looks like it could be Dustin Poirier's final fight, or at least his final run at the title. Give us your thoughts on that 5 rounds, because it was one of the most amazing fights we've watched in a very long time. How do you feel about it, in Dustin's performance as well as Makhachev's performance for this 5 rounds?
Yeah, like you said, it was a really great fight to watch. I thought Islam was excellent, as always. I think just the
Yeah,
fact that Dustin managed to survive to make it such a good fight is testament to how good Islam is. We used to him like just running through oaks and dominating.
yeah.
And the fact that Dustin was able to make a fight of it made it interesting. But again, it was just testament to the champ and how he always
Mm,
finds a way.
mhm.
And yeah, just so dominant. Like if we look at it, for me, it was 3-1 going into the final round, if that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you could give Dustin the second round possibly, but that could have easily also gone to Islam. So again, dominant performance by the champ. Dustin put up a hell of a fight, but at
Mhm.
the end of the day, Islam did what Islam does. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, 100%. Just scrolling through the rounds as we can see on screen here. I think you're right in saying that round two was probably Dustin's best round. I think that's the round he actually won it. Um, but then safe to say that round one through one, three, four, and five, Makhachev was pretty good. And I think as much as I wanna allude us to how brilliant Dustin Poirier was in terms of having the ability to actually stop a lot of the takedowns. I think what's it, how many takedowns in total? 16, and he only landed 5 of that 16 takedowns. That must tell you what Dustin was actually doing through that 25 or 24 minutes. He was actually surviving and made it a competitive fight. I mean, Makhachev came out and said it was one of the most competitive fights he's been in. Obviously, the one that he lost, but that was so much longer ago. It was 14 fights ago.
Yeah.
And why I'm bringing this up is because the sort of narrative that was going around was that Dustin didn't really evolve. I mean, I
Yeah.
said it
I mean,
myself. I
yeah,
said it
that's what we
myself
were saying in the preview. Yeah,
in the
exactly.
preview.
Yeah.
And I think I'm saying this because I want to actually come out and chew my own words in front of people and say, listen, Dustin Poirier actually evolved because he took
Yeah.
on the pound for pound and one of the most scariest grapplers in the UFC, not just in that division, but in the UFC. One of the most
Yeah.
scariest grapplers, and Dustin was able to nullify. Look there, 14 of that man's takedowns. That's fantastic. I mean, sorry, 10 of his takedowns. That's really good. So I think it speaks volumes to what Dustin is doing. But what I want to ask you going to the next question is what happens next for these two fighters, starting with Dustin Poirier?
Yeah, for Dustin, I don't know. Like, um, yeah, if he gets a shot at the BMF, maybe take that against Max. It'd be a great fight to watch. But
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
in terms of his career and like pursuing a goal, I don't
Yeah,
see again him. I mean, he said it himself. He's not really willing to climb the ladder again to fight for the
mm-hmm.
title. So
Yeah.
yeah, if it was me, I would retire. Um,
For
but
real?
yeah, if it was me, I would
Yo.
retire because like he says, he's done so much. He's made the money. He's done it all. He made a couple of runs at the title. Unfortunately, fall short.
Mhm, mhm.
And again, if he's not going to climb that mountain again, then I don't see the point in him sticking around just for like his own
Yeah,
longevity, man. Because you know how the sport does take a toll on your mental. So
1000%.
yeah, I don't want him to be one of those people who the sport kind of retires and he holds on, man, because he's done
Mm.
such a lot for the sport. And I think for someone like him, even though he's not going out at the very top, he's going out as close to the top as he can.
Yes,
You know what
yes.
I mean?
Which is still
So
phenomenal, yeah.
exactly, and I think that's he deserves to win the title, not based on the fight, but just based on his career. He deserved to
Yeah,
retire as a champ. I would say it would have been
yeah.
the best fairy tale ending for him. But like, if he's not going to get that, then I think this is not a bad like place to
What
settle.
What about possible, like you mentioned Max Holloway for the BMF, and I think that would actually be a really good closing fight for his career. But what about closing it on maybe fighting another money fight against Conor McGregor? Because that has to be that has been some of the conversations coming out now. Because you would argue that you could go and fight at 170 against Conor. It doesn't have to be 155.
Yeah, absolutely. Depends on what Connor does against Chandler, but
Yeah.
yeah, that people are always gonna watch that.
Mm.
For me, I don't really see the appeal in it that much because it's like, what has Connor done lately?
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I just don't want Dustin to take too much more damage,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
more than what he already has, and to let the sport kind of take more of a toll on him than it has. So
I hear
yeah,
you. I hear you.
I think it's just more of like, as a UFC, I got like as a UFC fan, I got a soft spot for Dustin.
Mm.
So it's
Mm.
like, I think I'm speaking a lot from the heart, not really
Yeah.
as a person wanting to see these fights, man. I think just more of him as a person and as a human being,
Mm-hmm.
to get away from it while he can before it's too
Too
late.
late. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good. So I'm just going to pass on the same question to the other fighter. That is the champion, Islam Makhachev. What's your take
yeah.
on what's next for him?
Whatever he wants, bro. Whatever he wants. I mean, what can't this man do? You know what I mean?
So
Like,
so 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 as a fight fan, like you're a big fan of the combat sports. You like this organization. So as a fight fan, what do you think would be a good match or the next best matchup for Islam
mm,
Makhachev?
look, Saryukin has to get a shot.
Yeah, yeah,
That's non-negotiable for me. But if he beats Saryukin, then I'd like to see him go up a weight class and try and go
hmm
champ. Yeah.
yeah. 170 for sure. Leon Edwards, look out, look out, look out.
So that would be Leon Edwards. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, because he sort of loosely called out in his post fight interview. He sort of did touch base on the idea. He didn't fully
Yeah.
commit, but he did say that
Yeah.
he would love double champ status for sure. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to go down to featherweight. I think he's definitely going to do a 170 for sure. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Leon Edwards, look out there.
Sorry, just one other thing, bro, that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think is
yeah.
important to mention. We obviously know Islam is a magnificent grappler, excellent wrestler. But on the feet, bro, he stood with Dustin and he actually outstruck him based on the stats
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
which was very surprising to see. And I think that now we have to give Islam his flowers for his striking, bro. He put
yeah. This,
Volkanovski down with a head kick. He stood with
yeah.
Volkanovski a lot of the time.
There you can
And
see
yeah,
it on screen.
he's shown his mettle on the feet now, and I don't think
Mm-hmm.
we can overlook
Mm-hmm.
that. Like,
Not at all.
what he did in that fight was he stood with Dustin first, and he said, "Look here, you're not necessarily the best here. You have a
Mm.
chance here, but I'm gonna show
Yeah.
you that I can stand with you. And when I'm done proving that, I'm gonna take you down."
Yes.
You
And
know
he
what
did
I mean?
it.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly what in the first round. That's exactly what he did.
Think he did it for the majority of the fight, to be honest.
Mm. I
Like
think,
Dustin was
yeah,
always dangerous standing and going, and I think Islam made that point that you just made yourself. I think I heard him say in the interview that he admits when he was talking to Megan O'Leary that he feels Dustin is probably one of the best strikers. Not like he said, not strikers. He said he first said strikers, and then he reverted himself and he said no, he's one of the best boxers in the UFC, if not the best boxer. But this is MMA
mm,
striking, is what he said, and he felt that literally what you just described now is that I'm going to stand with you, but I always know that I have the grappling advantage over you, which makes
mm,
me the more complete MMA fighter. And for that,
absolutely,
I'm gonna show you why I can beat you in that regard. And I think
absolutely.
at this very kind of moment in time, it's very hard to see a UFC fighter that actually matches that attribute, which is what Makhachev
Mm.
is talking about. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of great fighters in the UFC right now, but I think Makhachev is definitely a complete description of what MMA looks like
So is he pound for pound for you? Because I saw in a
right
press
now.
conference, Dana White was like, "Nah, you can't call him pound for pound while John Jones is still on the roster." That was
Um,
the argument.
It depends on what your rhetoric is for pound. I think each individual might have, just like in football, in context, you might have a different criteria that you look at from person to person. I think we all can agree on at least five, maybe categories that make sense. But further than that, I think it goes into other nuances like your favorite fighter, or you will find a category that will suit the reason as to why you may be agreeing for this fighter to be pound for pound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
So
John,
there's not like a uniform standard for
no,
pound for pound.
no,
Okay.
there isn't. And that's why
I
it
thought
makes
it
it
was
that's what
just
makes
like
it
basically if Islam was a heavyweight, he would move John Jones. that's
But
kind
you
of the
can't be a
logic.
heavyweight.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
that's the
mean,
logic that I would apply, man. Skill set wise, if he
uh,
had the build and he fought John
yeah.
Jones, what would happen?
Hard to
You know what I mean?
say. Yeah.
It's impossible to say. It's completely hypothetical. But yeah, that's kind of my thinking. But sorry, just to come back to the striking for a second.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned he kind of stood with Dustin for a lot of the fight, but I think in
He
the
did.
first round was a great example of I'm gonna stand with you, I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna take you down.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
completely agree. And look, as the fight went on, there was moments where Dustin started getting a bit of sort of landing on him and sort of like putting damage on Makhachev. But I don't think it was enough to almost how do I say? Because it was only in the fifth round where the damage really started showing on Makhachev, and that's when Makhachev did the whole. All right, let me actually just end the fight here and now, go for that massive takedown
How was
and
that
landed it.
takedown, bro? How was
Yeah,
that
probably
takedown? Like
that was
three-part
elite.
sequence, bro. It was fucking crazy. It was next
Elite.
level, bro. You don't see that from anyone else, bro. That level
No,
of
that's
takedown,
elite.
like it was like a whole choreography that he went through,
Yes.
bro. Like flipped him,
Yeah.
tackled him, sunk the
Yes.
toss. It was fucking
And
beautiful,
transition.
bro.
First,
So
he
good.
did the guillotine, then he transitioned into the toss afterwards.
Yeah.
What speaks volume for that moment, AD, is Dustin Poirier saying that I had 50 fights and have never seen anything like that
Yeah.
in 50
Never.
fights, dude. That's more than 10 years of fighting, and he has never seen anything like that before. That's what speaks
Elite, bro.
volumes to what Makhachev was doing. And that's for me why it's hard to deny the pound for pound status on him right now. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
very difficult.
absolutely.
So
Okay.
just world class performance on Makhachev, dude. Just world class
Mm.
performance. But let's keep it moving, 80, as we progress here. We're moving on to Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. What an exciting fight that was, eh? Just back and forth between the two guys. Honestly, I thought it was more closer than what was intended. I think what I'm mistaken, this was a split decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, split decision. What's your take on it? Because I felt the fight was very close. Very.
Yeah. Again, a lot closer than a lot of people were saying. Having said
Yeah.
that, though, bro, the judging at this event was extremely sus. For someone for like two judges had the same scores for opposite
Yes.
fighters. You know what I mean? Which is like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on, Muriel?
Yeah.
What
Both are
what
like, what
the
are we
fuck is
watching?
going on? Yeah, like who are these people? Where did you get them from? But anyway, back to the fight. It's kind of like we described in the build up. Strickland was staying behind that jab, controlling the distance, dictating the tempo. Costa was moving back a lot,
A lot.
which is not what I expected personally. I expected him to kind of stand in the center a lot more and try and trade with Sean. But then when Sean checked that leg kick,
Yeah, game changer.
it kind of immobilized him, and then he had to stand. And I think that even might have worked in his favor a little bit because
In whose
when he was
favor?
moving back in Costa's favor. Because when he was moving back all the time, his gas tank was getting drained the whole time. Sean was just walking, easy pace. And yeah, so I just thought, again, great fight. Costa landed a lot of leg kicks, a lot of body work. But Sean did control the pace. And did he knock him down twice, or was it just once with the head kick at the end?
At the end, watching that replay back, I don't think it counted as a knockdown because the shot was completely blocked. And
so it was more like a stumble.
Because he was going backwards. He ran out of canvas and he hit the cage and then it just went down. Like it was one of those momentum things that happened. It wasn't necessarily like. I think if that kick landed flush, I think the fight would have been finished right there. I think Costa would have been knocked out.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you said it was a very exciting fight, and it was exciting. But I think it could have been a lot better than what it was if Costa had actually decided to take a stand earlier in the fight and say, Chike, it's either you or me. Like one of us got to go here because I'm not. Basically, I know that you have the gas tank to see out 5 rounds, and for me, maybe not so much. So by the time the third round rolls around, it's like maybe take a stand. Take a stand and try and make a fight. Try and get a result, like eat to be eaten, kill to be killed kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that, AD, because I actually feel like Paulo Costa tried that in the third round. And I think that one check that was extremely loud and it vaulted Costa's shin. That's what made him have to almost rethink that plan of standing his ground. Because you could see he couldn't stand on it properly. He was limping quite incredibly uncomfortable. And then because it was checked like that, and it pretty much took away Paulo Costa's best attribute for that fight, which is what he was throwing, which was the the roundhouse kick. But the problem I had with that was he wasn't necessarily thrown into the body as much, which could have set up his hands a lot more. He threw a lot to the legs. And Sean Strickland checks every single fighter that he fights to. He did it to Dricus as well. Dricus was beaten up because he was getting checked so much. You know what I mean?
I was watching some of the footage back, and you can see him like in his stance, checking like knees up, like he was marching at times, bro. Not like he was high knees all the time, bro.
Literally.
So yeah, but I think
No, go on. I was not asking a question afterwards.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that in the preview we kind of alluded to the fact that Costa's kicking was gonna be big, and it was. You know, his leg kicks were a major factor, but I think I said to you when we were watching it live also, like, and yeah, he should have thrown a lot more body kicks.
It would have changed so much for him.
Teeps, but also like side kicks to the
body.
Stuff.
When he did land one in the fight, and it made Strickland stop. I remember watching him stop like that, and I thought, if you just had to throw more of this in the fight instead of just using the same, look, the leg kick to the calf kick is a brilliant weapon to use. We know this, but Strickland realized it after round one already. He caught onto it after the first round. When Strickland started limping himself, he realized, let me check this dude. When Strickland switched to southpaw, he realized, no, I need to check this dude. Otherwise, if I don't, he's gonna eat at me, and then I'm gonna be at a disadvantage. And Strickland didn't want to stay southpaw the whole fight, so he went back to his orthodox, went to the jab, checked everything, and got back to his control, which is what he wanted. My question I was going to ask you was, what do you give more points, a jab or calf kicks? Because the thing is that what I noticed about Strickland, although he controlled the distance, I wish that Strickland actually controlled exchanges as well, and not just utilize jabs and winning by the jab. I wish he had a lot more combinations, like proper boxing combinations from that jab, because the jab was so well done that he had so much control, but he didn't do anything with the control other than keeping Costa depleting, like making him deplete by going back foot and jab. The most damage Strickland landed on Costa in the fight was checking that leg.
Yeah, I think he mentioned in the presser that he wasn't able to get his combinations going just because Costa was always trying to move backwards and get out of the way. So he was very frustrated. I'm sure if Costa had been less mobile and actually, like tried to like walk through his shots the way I imagined he would and the way I've seen him do in the past, it would have been a lot more of an entertaining fight in the sense of like it's a street fight. You know what I mean? We're gonna brawl now, not technical. We're just gonna fucking Max Holloway it now and swing. You know what I mean? So
I agree with you there.
We didn't get to that, which I thought we might see a few exchanges at least of that kind of fashion, but didn't. I mean, at the end, last 10 seconds, it went a bit. But it was a great fight. I enjoyed it.
Very entertaining.
But again, I think it could have been a lot more dirty. You know,
I think that's what we wanted. I think that was the kind of expectation. And then when we got more of a technical fight, we had, as fans had to switch from being this, bloodthirsty kind of fans to almost like, this is a lot more technical than what we thought it was going to be. And that's also very impressive to watch. Like we have to
it was excellent as well. It was excellent.
You know what I mean? Before we move on to the next fight, I want to end off by asking the same questions that I asked in the previous one. What is next for these two fighters?
So Strickland probably waits it out for the title shot now, I imagine.
I think he said that.
I mean, who else could he possibly fight?
He's kind of
maybe Robert Whittaker.
He hasn't fought Whittaker yet, and he hasn't fought Khamzat, who's now apparently staying in this division. From what I could hear, he's sticking out in the middleweight.
So it could possibly be the winner of Khamzat Whittaker, but I think he's done enough to get a rematch for the title. Well, not a rematch, but just another title shot.
I think he's got a good shot, man. I think he's definitely got a good shot. And we also have to make mention of Easy. Easy's just, he's waiting in the wings there. For Costa, what does he do? Does he have another chance at the title run, or does he stay in the, that middle tier of the top 10 of the division? Like, what do you see?
He's got a lot of work to do to get himself back into the conversation for a title shot. So I think I don't even know if he deserves Jared Cannonier, bro. Let me just check the rankings here.
I think Cannonier's fighting another guy that's, I think, ranked 6th or 8th or something.
Oh, yeah. I also said Vettori hasn't fought in a while, so maybe that could be a fight for him.
Again?
Yeah. I mean, because I don't see anyone else here, bro. It's Strickland, Adesanya, Whittaker. There's Cannonier and Vettori at 4 and 5. Brendan Allen at 6, so possibly him. Jacko Manson maybe
Excuse
a
me.
bit further down,
Maybe.
or maybe actually Borralho, bruh, the guy with the cherry
Yes.
tattoos.
That would be
They're
good. That would be a
basically
good
the
one.
same person.
Yeah, they
So
are very
they look
similar,
almost
actually.
exactly the same, bruh. So yeah, that could be a good fight, bruh. Costa versus Evil Costa.
Costa versus the anti-Costa.
Uh,
To really lekker build up. But anyway, it's a really good performance of both fighters, and well done to Sean Strickland. But let's keep it moving on, 80 swiftly to our guy, Kevin Holland. Performance of the night. With one of the most scariest tap outs you would see, dude. Like, come on, what a performance.
Yeah,
Hey?
yo, that was a sickening armbar that man had, movie. Yo,
What do you make of that? Because is that Kevin's fault or problem, or is that Michal's fault or problem, or even the referee? Like, what was the reason for that happening?
Look, if you're not gonna tap me, bro, then you're
Yeah.
leaving Kevin Holland with no choice. He even was speaking to the referee, was like, "I'm gonna break it, I'm gonna break it," and then the ref
That's
was
true.
like, "What can I do?" And then he was like, "Okay, fuck it," like
I'm gonna break
So,
it then.
so yeah, he didn't want to break it, Brian. I can understand. You never want to do that to another like athlete because that means like what a long layoff. You know what I mean? And nobody
Long
as
recovery.
yeah. So fair play to him for kind of like letting the ref know, like, bro, you got to stop this fight or something very bad's gonna happen.
Because the ref couldn't stop it either because the athlete himself, Michal Lizejek, didn't tap, and he also wasn't asleep. He was there, and he was like, I'm in it. I'm attempting to get out, but
Too tough for his own good, bro. Exactly. So like there's no fault. There's no fault to anyone there. If it's anybody's fault, bro, it's Oli Zayshek's fault for being too tough. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, you can't really be mad at him for that. But again, it's nobody's fault. But again, fantastic performance from Kevin Holland.
Yeah. Performance of the night.
I called it, bro.
You said
Kevin Holland by sub went down. So pretty happy with that. Very sad I didn't place any bets over the weekend, but yeah, let's hopefully we can carry this momentum over into the next pay-per-view.
And then you can make some mega cash. But good stuff for Kevin Holland, dude. It was a good shot for Michal to sort of have a crack at the middleweight and see if he can take a stab at getting himself ranked. But Kevin Holland, do you think that he should sit down now and make with his coaches and actually make a plan to go for a title, or does he continue to rack up all these performance bonuses? Like, what does he make? What should he make of his career going forward?
Yeah, look, I definitely think he can compete with the top 5 at middleweight. He can definitely make a fight of it. Yeah, so maybe he should start considering that. But at the same time, as a fight fan, it's like I love him the way he is, man. He's always game to fight anyone, and he always puts on the show. Even if that means he puts himself at risk of a bad result, he'll still put it on the line. I mean, the One Boy fight was a classic example. He could have taken One Boy down quick sticks, but he was like, "Nah, we like him because that's what the fans want to see." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't fault somebody like that. You know what I mean? But if he wanted to, he could definitely compete.
I just think he's that talented, man. I'm a fan of him, and I think he's a very talented fighter, and I would love to see him go up against champions, go up against the top 5, take on these big dogs, because I think you're better than just the guy that's racking up bonuses and taking on gatekeeping divisions, if you will. I actually would like to see him have a run at it, because I think he can. I think he really can take it. If he falls short, it's fine, but I mean, I think he's got the makings to really go and compete. That's why I'm asking the question.
No, absolutely agree. Yeah, he could definitely compete with his top 5 guys. But yeah, if he decides not to, I won't be mad at him.
But let us know what you guys think in the comments about Kevin Holland. Should he have a run at it, or should he continue to be the full performance of a night kind of guy? But anyway, 80, let's keep it running, bro. So now we have a fight that was that filled in for Gelton and Romanov. These guys were on the prelims, but they ended up making it on the pay-per-view card. I can't remember what the reason was, but Nico Price fought against Alex Morono, and he won. 3-round decision, pretty much just outboxed Morono, and I think unanimous was fair. I think Morono kind of gassed out after the one because Nico Price put on the wrestling. and you could see it drain Morono in that first round. And then going into round 2 and 3, just get it on the feet, and that's where he was outlanding Morono. What do you make of this fight? Do you think it was a good one? And did it have to be on the main card?
I mean, to be honest with you, bro, I was looking forward to the Jelton and Romanov fight.
Yes.
So I was a bit disappointed when I woke up and I saw that the fight had already taken place. To be honest with you, I'm pretty indifferent about this fight. It was a decent fight to watch. Nico Price, OG in the game. I thought Morono started well. He had a liquor pace, but I think you said in the first round he's not going to be able to keep this pace, and it's just going to be a matter of time before Price starts asserting himself and controlling the tempo here, which is exactly what happened. So fair play to Price. And for as far as he goes, I'm not sure what's for him.
No, you don't have to. I'm not going to ask that question.
He was on the prelim, so probably get him on the main card next time. I don't know, bro.
I mean, this was the main card for him, but yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be on the prelims, man, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's like an upgrade for him is being on the main card. I mean,
it was an upgrade. Maybe he got a better purse for that since he moved into the main card. But I don't really see like a future.
Just 1 second. Kevin Holland, is he? Just sorry to come back to him. Is he welterweight to middleweight? Because he fought middleweight, right?
Yeah, he fought middleweight this one, yes.
Olejashik. But I see his name here in the welterweight ranking. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why I was asking that question for him, because he's been doing that since he's been in the UFC. He was dancing around the 2 divisions. Even when he fought Hamza at welterweight, it wasn't even a middleweight fight. It's like even Hamza as well. I said the same thing. Super talented dude, and I just want to see you guys stick to a weight class and then run with it, because jumping between the 2 weights is not going to get you to the title. It's going to keep you in that prize fighter kind of fighter that you're going to make the fights, but you're not really going to make the title fights.
Sorry to go back to this again, but which division would you want to see Kevin Holland make a run at the title for? Would that be welterweight or middleweight?
I used to say welterweight Edina, but seeing how pulled out he was for this middleweight fight against Michal, I was like, hey, it's almost reminiscent of Max Holloway when he pulled out for Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
It was like you actually took the time out to have a nutritionist. And what was insane about this is that Kevin Holland didn't even have a camp for this fight. He had a 3-week notice before he took on Michal. That's what's insane, bro. And he looked so full, and I was like, oh, okay. So if you actually can like put effort in, you would be a killer. You would be a straight up killer.
Yeah.
But he doesn't take it that serious, man. He takes it serious, but he doesn't take it that serious. The stakes aren't that high for him. You know, he's always smiling and he's always just having a draw. I think he's just appreciative of being in the UFC and having to fight the best guys. But I don't think he's like, oh, I'm gonna be the champion. This is my king. This is my crown. He's not that kind of person. He's the kind of guy that just wants to fight all the time as much as he can. He looks like that.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's why he's dancing between the 2 divisions so much. Because there are good guys in welterweight, and there are also great guys in the middleweight that he can compete against, and it will make a lot of money.
Yeah. So tell me, if he fights Colby, who do you think wins that fight?
Oh, to be honest with you, Eddie, Colby hasn't been active long enough for me to root for him, man. When he had his stint with Usman, he was fighting so consistently. You could follow him, and you could follow his growth. You could follow his patterns. You're like, okay, he's a really great fighter. Colby Covington is a really great fighter, but we've seen in the past when fighters take like 2-year layoffs, 3-year layoffs, and they come back and then they are not even remotely close to what they were like when they were competing for the title. So that's my only concern for Colby Covington, is that the gaps may be very long. I think if he did 1 fight a year, it would have helped him, but having like 1 fight every 2 years is not necessarily the best. And Kevin Holland is freaking frequent too. This guy fights so consistently.
Yeah,
and that might be an advantage for him.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking because I'm looking at the welterweight division now, and I'm just looking at the top 5. And if he was going to make a run at it, I just want to kind of get your idea on where he stands with these guys. So someone like maybe Della Medellina, Ian Gary, those kind of guys. Do you think he gets the job done against the kind of?
They welterweight, eh?
Yeah,
they welterweights. Look, Jack Della Medellina is tough. Didn't Kevin Holland fight him already? Didn't they fight before?
I don't know, bro.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
But
possibly,
at the moment, 3-name Jack is on such a big rise. So I think anyone that gets him at this current state in Jack's life is going to have a tough fight against Jack for sure. Ian Machado, I'm not that impressed. He's good, but I'm not that impressed. I think Kevin gets it done against him, and Kevin chokes him out. But
I think he still has a lot to prove, but he looks very promising.
He looks
Machado
promising,
guy.
but Jack what's his name? Magdalena.
Yeah.
He's looking really great at the moment. He's on a big rise. He's on a very big rise. But anyway, Eddie, let's keep it going. So we had Nico Price, Alex Morono. That's good one. And then we're going to close off with your favorite, Randy Rude Boy Brown taking on Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos. And that was also a fantastic fight. I mean, we kind of touched on what would be the things that Randy would be using to win. And I think he utilized it very good. He was a lot quicker, a lot snappier. However, whenever dos Santos did land, it did almost, stop Randy Brown in his movement there. His strategy of I can't just be so in his face all the time, and it forced him to go back a few times. And I think that made the fight quite competitive. What's your take on it?
Yeah, exactly what you said. Randy used the speed advantage, but when dos Santos did close the distance, he was swinging for the fences. if he had landed on one of those punches that he was throwing, bro, that was the fight over for me, bro. So great fight. Two very good strikers.
Phenomenal.
And I saw that dos Santos did try and shoot a takedown, which I think I said in the preview might be a factor because he will be slower than Randy Brown, and as the fight goes on, it's not going to do him any favors with regard to speed and mobility. So he did try, but unfortunately, not maybe depending on who you supported, wasn't successful. But for me, very happy that Randy Brown came away with the decision. I'd like to see more of him. I'm not sure where he's ranked now.
He lost to 3-name Jack as well in his last fight. That is before coming on a 6-fight win streak. And losing to Jack was just a blimp, man. I think Randy Brown also got a good opportunity and skill set to really make the top 5 welterweights shit themselves. I don't know if he can beat all of them, but I do think he can give them a competitive fight. I don't know if you agree with that.
What do you think?
Takedowns.
Sorry, yeah. No,
I just wanted to make mention of the takedowns of dos Santos. He landed 4 of 7, which came in the later rounds. Round 2 and round 3, but it wasn't necessarily any threatening takedowns. It just Randy Brown got up again and went.
If you look at it, bro, dos Santos had 7 takedown attempts, but Brown had 2 submission attempts, which is more than dos Santos.
Now look there.
So that's pretty crazy. I mean, I didn't expect that, especially from a Brazilian one who should be quite well versed in the ground game. But what I was gonna ask you is, since we are speaking about the welterweight division and Randy Brown, Kevin Holland, what do you think about who wins that fight?
Randy Brown, Kevin Holland.
You think Kevin Holland's too high level for him, or you think
it's a very good matchup? It's a very good matchup. You see Kevin Holland, dude, he's been in there with high level credential grapplers like Jacare Souza, man. And he's competed with these big guys that are double his size almost, And mind you, when Kevin Holland fought against those Jacare Souza, Hamza, they were divisions above him in terms of you could clearly see they were much bigger than him, and he made it very competitive. I mean, he beat Jacare Souza. Randy Brown, when he has lost, he either lost against a very slick boxer or he lost against a very good grappler. And I think Kevin Holland is not a master of each, but he's really good at both grappling and striking. And he's also just a dog for any 3-round, 5-round kind of fight. I don't know if Randy Brown can do a 5-rounder. So why I'm saying 5-rounder is because the fight can potentially go there. Randy Brown fights the way he fights for another year and a half. You're going to see him in the top 5 of the welterweight for sure. And Kevin Holland is always going to be in and around for money fights, which means you might actually see this fight play down. That's if Kevin Holland doesn't stay in the middleweight division. So let's say this fight actually gets put together. How do I see it playing out? I don't think it'll be tough for Kevin Holland, but I do think he will win it. I do think he will win it on decision, to be honest with you. Because Randy Brown doesn't necessarily put himself in positions to get hurt that often. He's very slick. He's got a very good defensive striking defense. He's very good at striking defense. So yeah, it's. I don't think it will be as cut and dry to say Ron smokes him. I think it will be a very, very close fight between the two guys. Especially that Danny Brown is actually in a good purple patch of his life. Like he's putting together good training camps. He's putting together a good set of wins, and not just winning like, oh, okay, you won this guy. Like it's good standout performances, you know. So it's hard to bet against Andy Brown at this current moment in time, right?
Yeah. No, I'll definitely keep an eye on him going forward. So yeah. Another fighter that I've become a fan of in recent weeks.
Rude boy.
Andy Brown. Yeah. Rude boy.
Nah, look, guys. But anyway, 80, that is our time, brother. Thank you so much for doing the recaps and doing the previews with me. It's always a pleasure. It's a lot of pleasure. And also for you guys out there, thank you for watching and tuning in, and also like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And stay in touch with our latest content for the CPS Reports 80. I'll see you on the next one. This week it is the One Championship. So you must let me know. You must let me know if you want to do the One Championship with me this week. And I'll touch base with you on that one. But anyway, for you guys out there, stay safe, stay humble. See you on the next one. Cheers.